Hi, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I am creating a layout for Papermaze, so this video classes as an advertisement. This month I'm working with the Cozy Days collection by Simple Stories. I'm really loving Simple Stories at the moment. I think this is the third collection in a row of theirs that I've worked with, and I really do love the style of their collections, so excited to be working with this one as well. I'll start off by apologising. I've had surgery to have a wisdom tooth removed a few days ago, and I'm really struggling to speak, so I won't be doing an awful lot of talking through this video, so most of it I'll just let you watch what I'm doing. But just to start off, I'm using some ivory coloured basil cardstock. I think it's actually called Natural, and I've selected the Comfy Cozy patterned paper. As you saw, I've torn it into several strips. I haven't worried about making those strips neat or measured them out or anything. I've just randomly torn, and I wanted the white edge to be showing. The idea is this photo of my little boy was taken in the forest at I think it was Rushmere Country Park, and the forest floor at the moment is obviously full of texture with all the leaves and acorns and pine cones and just loads of different things. So I wanted to have loads of texture on my page. So I've just torn them really roughly with the white edge showing, just to kind of mimic the texture of the forest floor. And then I'm layering them up, overlapping slightly, and then I can stick that down as one piece to the top of my layout. Once I'd glued them all together, I realised I'd glued them a little bit tighter together than I had originally mapped out, so I've just torn myself an extra strip just to make that patterned paper come down the page a little bit more. So I'm matting my photo onto white cardstock first. I was a bit nervous about using the white because there isn't an awful lot of white in this collection. It's more kind of natural tones of like cream and ivory, but I wanted something to help my photo pop. So I used the white, and then as a second layer behind that I've got this green basil cardstock. This is textured, and this is from the Matchmaker pack on the website. And I'm just using that as a second layer behind my photo, and again distressing the edges of that just to add a bit more texture and interest to the page. Picked out some bits from the journal bits and pieces pack. That envelope with the flowers bursting out of it was on a card, and I just fussy cut that out to use it as a piece of ephemera. I've got a couple of larger journaling tag type pieces. I've got one behind my photo, and I'm using another to the left. And these pieces you can see there, I've just fussy cut them. The leaves are from the B-side of the Harvest Wishes pattern paper. That's a gorgeous paper. It is just full of leaves, great for fussy cutting to give you loads of little embellishments to add to your layout. And then I've got a fox and a squirrel as well. Those were fussy cut from the B side of the Comfy Cozy patterned paper, so the one I've torn the strips from at the top. They are on the B side of that, so I've used those as well. That tag I've cut from the Tags patterned paper. This is something I've noticed with Simple Stories. Most of their collections have a tags paper. The Boo Crew collection had it as well, and they're brilliant because one side the tags just have a patterned piece at the top of the tag, but on the B side the whole tag is decorated, so you've got a choice. Oh sorry, that's one of my little baby rats has come out for a play. This is Pumpkin Pie, just come to say hello. And so I've I've used that tag behind my photo, and I've just added some green embroidery thread behind it. Just sort of doubled it over a few times and thread it through. Again, just to add a bit more texture and interest to the layout. And just sticking my patterned paper tears down now. I've just used double-sided tape for that. Oh, and a banana chip to keep a pumpkin pie happy. Adding some foam behind my photos just to help my photo pop up from the page a little bit more and stand out. These are just cheap foam shapes from one of my son's old craft boxes. We've got hundreds of them and he doesn't really use them, so I thought I'd make use of them here rather than them sit doing nothing. So once I've got my photo sorted, I'm just going to come back in and start piecing my layout back together. I'd kind of mapped out at the beginning where I wanted everything to go, so now it's just a case of distressing the edges and sticking things down. Most of the things I use the double-sided foam pads to stick things down. It's just to add a bit more dimension. I don't like things flat on my layout. I like things to stand up off the page a little bit, so these foam pads are great for that. So I've put the 2 journaling cards back in place and the tag, and then I've got this little chipboard circle piece, which I've again distressed the edges from that, and I'm going to pop that down. I wanted to add a thread tangle behind it, but I couldn't decide on my colour. So I know that for my title I'm going to use some grey puffy alphabet stickers, which is purposely why I picked the tag with some grey in it, but I felt like the layout needed a bit more grey, so I've gone with a grey thread to use behind that piece, just to add a bit more of a sprinkling of that grey around the page. I'd picked out these little sentiment phrases from the journaling bits and pieces pack. My plan was initially to slot them in between the layers at the top half of the page here, but they looked a bit too squared off at the edges compared to the patterned paper, which I'd torn roughly. They just looked a bit too harsh and square, even with distressed edges. So I've popped them there for now, but I decide I don't like them and they do come off the page eventually. And I'm just going around now with all those fussy cut leaves, just trying to decide where I want them. I thought about placing some of those peeking out between the paper layers as well, but it didn't look right, so they all came off and just stuck to the bottom half. So I'm just raising some of those up onto foam pads again. I'm trying to place the leaves so that I've got kind of an even colour distribution, so I don't want all the browns in one place and all the greens in another. I want to make sure that each colour is sort of represented in each little cluster. I've got this little grey piece there that says "Love You So" that I wanted to try and get in, but again the edges were looking a bit too harsh compared to the torn strips, so that didn't make it either. And these are the puffy stickers I'm using for my title. They are the Aria Puffy Alphabet stickers by Bella Boulevard. I really absolutely do love these, and they come in a whole range of colours, so I definitely will need to get some more in different colours. It took me a long time to decide on my title, I wanted it to sit in that gap there under the photo, so I knew it would probably only be a one-word title, and I really struggled to come up with something, and in the end I went with happy, because my little boy is just so happy in this photo. He absolutely loves going to the woods, especially when it's been raining and he's got his waterproofs and his wellies on. And this photo is just classic of him just enjoying himself, and you tell him to smile for the camera when he does his cheese face. So I went with happy. And then in the journal bits and pieces pack, there's that little tab that says together, and seeing as I was with him and we were happy together, I thought I'd use that as part of my title as well. And I'm just fussy cutting some extra bits just to extend the layout further down the page. I didn't want the bottom half to be completely bare, so I've added another another fussy cut squirrel under the title, and just a couple more of the leaves there that are from the Harvest Wishes paper. So just trimmed my branding strip off, and now I'm just penciling in some lines to add my journaling. My journaling I add off camera so you don't have to look at my head, and I finish off the layout with some gold acrylic paint splatters just with a small paintbrush, and some acrylic leaves I've got and some acorns there. So thank you very much for joining me today. Again, apologies for my voice and the lack of talking, but it is somewhat sore at the moment, so I'm back off now for a cup of tea and to rest. But please do check out the Papermaze website for this collection, and if you want to have a read and find direct links to everything I've used, you can check the blog for those. All the details are in there. So thanks very much.